Oh, actually, I can go live now.
I don't see why not. Just fire
Yep,
it up.
it turned well. I didn't know how to do it. I just figured it out.
Mhm.
Um, if you are watching both the Zoom and the YouTube, you will find that the YouTube is significantly behind, but everything is still there. It's just a little bit behind.
And I see it's working. I can see it on my end. We've got the stream up.
Excellent. Good. Jonathan, can I ask you to kind of just keep a little eye on that? I'm going to minimize it
problem.
so it's. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you. That helps a ton.
Yeah, because I have it up. Like I said, I have my desktop on, so
Okay.
I can see what's going on.
You'll see that there's a pretty significant
Yeah, I
gap in
see it. I can see it.
And if you
Hey,
don't
everybody,
mind,
can you hear me?
yes, we can.
Yeah, we can, loud and clear.
Is that you, Kirk?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God, Kirk's streaming live
From the train.
from the train. This is the Eureka and the Glenbrook coming in to Antonito this evening, an arrival in about half an hour or an hour, I believe.
Yeah, they said we might be about 10 to 15 minutes late.
Dude, that's amazing. The quality is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I'm stunned.
We are roughly at milepost 294.
294. That is.
You're only 4 miles out.
That's not far. No.
That's amazing. I'm stunned that you can send that kind of quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said we're going to shoot for a run by at Lava. The crew does not think they'll need water or wood, so it'll just be a stop for a run by.
Okay. So, and to repeat, Kirk is live streaming from the Eureka and the Glenbrook. They have they have 3 passenger cars, which I'll talk about later. I'm stunned. I had no idea that would work.
Surprised too. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go finish my steak.
You got it. Oh, Jonathan, that's so mean.
What? I had it from last night. I did it on the grill. I almost burnt both of them with the flames being so high.
Sounds amazing still.
Yeah. There we go. We got Kirk sticking his head up.
That's incredible, man. I'm so stoked.
So here's a look at the tourist sleeper.
That is brilliant.
So, Kirk, are you doing that off a phone? We just lost him.
Yeah, that's to be expected out there. I wouldn't call the internet out there perfect.
No, I was using that Sunday night when we were coming in Antonito, and it was kind of spotty.
Yeah.
Might get a steam engine back in.
There we go.
In front of us.
Excellent. This is Bill Kepner in front of the Antonito engine house. Very, very cool. Bill, I don't know if you know, but Kirk's live stream actually worked.
Yeah, I saw it briefly right when I got on.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed.
I'm back on, guys.
That's ridiculous. That should absolutely not work, Kirk.
That was 293 we just passed.
That is amazing.
Greg, it's rather windy here, so I'll probably mute myself myself so I don't get mic noise or wind
Okay.
noise.
Okay, that sounds good.
But 489 is about to back up in front of me.
Nice. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
At
Yeah,
least
so,
at least 487 sitting outside in Chalma Yard, which is great.
487. Nice. I did not know
No,
that.
497, the
Oh,
K37.
497. Right. Yeah, they pulled it out of the engine house.
That would be another cool project to do to get that engine back up and running again.
100%. Completely agree.
She'll need
Completely
a
agree.
1472, but at least then if we could get that done, at least then she can be back on the main.
Yes, very much so.
Mhm.
Very much so. And I think if you asked, I think that you would find that there's a lot of interest for that.
Yeah, I know there is. Even on my Facebook group page, they said there's a lot of people that want to see 497 run again.
Nice.
And I even rode behind 497 at age 4 in 1994. She was the helper engine in front of 487.
We were born in 1990.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you can't be here.
Oh, whatever, Greg.
Oh.
I'm curious who's next that's going to be converted to oil at the C&TS since we have 49 as an oil burner already.
I vote for 97.
497 to be oil?
Isn't that the K20 K37 we were just talking about in Chama?
Yeah, that's the coal
Yeah.
burner. She's coal.
Yeah, she is.
But would we convert her to oil? The question is, would she go to oil then if she would be converted from coal to oil?
Well, if you're going to do a 1472 anyhow,
Yeah, it might be worth putting her to oil then, I guess, like 493.
maybe.
True. I'm surprised she has her throttle back on her so quickly. I thought DNS took it.
That's a good question. I don't know the details there.
It is. I looked at some pictures that someone posted and it's there. There is
Okay.
already a throttle there.
That's very cool.
I guess DNS made it for them. I don't know. That's my question. Who made it for them or did they give it back? Is the question.
I think DNS borrowed it so they could make one with the intent of giving it back.
All right. That's what I was wondering because people were asking.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I had people
So-
asking me on my Facebook page, whatever happened.
Mark, did you have a question?
No, I was just responding to
Okay.
the young man about his question about the
Okay.
throttle.
Yeah.
So Jonathan, are you actually down in Roswell? I see your ENMU Roswell shirt.
No, I went to the school for a year. And then after that, graduated class of 2014.
We're in Portales,
Roswell.
Roswell. Very good.
Now it's under ownership of Mimi. They
Oh,
bought the
it's-
school out.
It's now part of the Institute.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. The school bellied up in 2015 and then Mimi came in and took over.
Interesting.
Yep.
When I joined a couple of minutes ago, people were talking about oil-fired engines.
Yes, sir.
I have no, why in the world would we ever do that when coal is so much a part of the experience, not only for the tourists, but for ourselves? Why don't we have a carbon offset program so that nobody has to feel guilty about burning coal?
Well, Bill, none of us are with the railroad. I don't believe this is about feeling guilty about burning carbon. I believe this is about making sure that we don't set fires and
Yeah.
also protecting ourselves against the closure of the King Coal Mine, which they have said is going to be in about 10 years. So that's my information and my opinion, but not an official statement from the railroad because I don't represent them. Does that help?
Well, we are where we are.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. That's right.
That is true. Fire danger is the railroad has kept 487 over here, 489 on the Antonito side, I think specifically because it's the drier side. Even though there's a less of a grade here, the concern for fire is greater here.
Mhm. Plus, most of DNS, all of DNS's coal licenses actually have gone. Insurance, there's not even one left.
I had not heard that.
Yeah, they dropped them. So that's why they're converting a lot of their locomotives to oil.
So we're gonna wait about 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Just make sure that everybody gets a chance to join. Some folks tend to jump in late.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and
Good.
clear.
I realized I had my thing muted. I talked to Ron and some of the people last year before he retired, and the whole issue really was started by the forest fire up on the Durango and Silverton. And they've converted one engine to oil, and really, from what I was told, they don't have plans to convert any other engines to oil. And of course, what I'm seeing now, looking at the yard cams, is that the coal burners leave Chalma in the morning and come back in the afternoon, but the train goes on through. So my assumption is that the 489 and the coal burner are turning at Osier.
That is correct.
And it makes sense to me because on my last trip last year, I'm a docent. On my last trip last year, which was the last day of the season, we started a nice little fire there at Hangman's Trestle.
Yep.
And of course, the fire patrol took care of it very quickly. But you could have easily got into a situation like they had on the DNS. And so I think really I don't like the idea of burning oil either. But I think it's better to burn oil on one or maybe eventually two locomotives than to lose the whole thing.
Right.
We easily could. I mean, we the whole railroad operates at the mercy of the states, and so one day, the federal government saw say, "Well, you just don't run steam locomotives through a national forest." There was any number of things that I think using the oil on at least one engine in the most vulnerable part is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree. And I do think that 487, 489, 489, right? Is that the
Yeah.
one? I think 489 has spent the majority of the summer over on this side.
Yeah, it made one trip to Chalma.
Okay.
I saw it come in and go once, but I've seen it. I watched the yard cams pretty regular.
Okay, cool. Well, it's 6:05 Mountain Time. Why don't we get started? Hi, everybody. My name is Greg Coit. I'm broadcasting live from the car repair facility in Antonito, Colorado. And this is a bunch of people are joining right now. That's funny. This is the Friends facility here in Antonito where we do car repairs. Right next to us to the north is the car storage facility where we keep some of the more unique items undercover to protect them from UV and from snow. Behind me, we have a Gramps tank car in mid-progress of being restored and a drop bottom gun over there. You're going to see pictures of those later on as part of the show. And the reason we're in Antonito this week is because it is the 50th anniversary of the states of Colorado and New Mexico buying the railroad from the Denver Rio Grande Western. Technically, it's the 51st anniversary. This was supposed to happen last year. We all know how that went because of COVID. The other anniversary that we're celebrating is that 141 years, but 140 years ago, the rail was laid between Antonito and Chalma, New Mexico over Cumbre Pass. So a couple amazing things to celebrate. And what we have here is an incredible collection of steam locomotives. And so we have some pictures and video to show you of events that have occurred over the last week. I have to mention that none of this would have happened without Bill Kepner, whose idea this was, and who put in a tremendous amount of time putting together the videos and the pictures. The videos and pictures are from Friends members who've been in all parts of the railroad this past week. So big shout out to Bill Kepner, who's a Friends member, for hooking us up with all of this information, and also Ian Kelly, who's our big time video guru, and will be collecting this information or this presentation and putting it out on Vimeo later on. But there's a YouTube live stream version of this. We have 18 people connected to that. We've got 42 people connected to Zoom. I will try and keep up with, thanks, Jason. That's really nice. We'll try and keep up with the chats in both Zoom and YouTube and answer questions as they come up. During the slideshow / videos, that part, ask you to mute your mics if you don't mind. We'll try and take breaks in between so people can ask questions, and there will be as long of a Q&A at the end as we need. Any questions before we get started? Okay, let me get this going. And what we've done is we've set up a little slideshow for you guys. Somebody chatted. Okay, here we go. So I already told you that we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the railroad. 50 years ago this month, this is video from the Cumbrian Toltec coming out of Chama. It's silent, there's no sound, unfortunately. But we thought it was such a coincidence that this was almost exactly 50 years. Please, Bill, go ahead.
This is an Ernie Robar
Oh, nice.
film, 8mm film.
Nice. I miss Ernie. This is the Narrows, of course, just after the highway was constructed, right? Or paved. So notice the passenger boxes. Keep those in mind because those are going to come back later on in the presentation. This is a little choppy even on my computer, so I'm sure it's choppy on yours. We're going to move ahead. Go. And I want to point out that the reason the railroad has survived for 51 years. If you're not muted, do you mind muting, please? It'll be good for all of us. The railroad's been around for 51 years because of the dedicated staff that works for the railroad. This is a small section of people who work for the railroad currently. I believe this is mostly the group coming out of Antonito. I've had the pleasure of interacting with a lot of these people, and I find all of them to be first rate. So really, the railroad's here today because of these folks. And here's 315 redressed as 425 for this event. That is John Bush himself painting the smokestack with silver. It was some kind of anti-heat paint. I don't remember the exact name of it. 425 looks freaking amazing. You'll notice that the tender is in white. It's since been changed to, I think, gold, which some photographs came out that indicated that during the time period they were targeting, gold was actually the color. So they went ahead and made the change. And there's 425 with some tank cars. This is pretty early on in the week. And here's 168 all dressed up. She is just gorgeous, a beautiful 10-wheeler.
And that is Craig McMillan, who built the cab and the cowcatcher.
Nice, thank you. 20 is here. Wow, it's really amazing to see this 10-wheeler on the property, and the size difference between 168 and 20 is pretty dramatic. I think we have a picture later on of the two side by side. This is a freaking gorgeous locomotive visiting from Golden, Colorado. Really stunning. She will operate a passenger train, a charter train on Tuesday. And here's the Eureka out of Nevada, owned by Dan Markoff. I mean, what can you say? It's just stunning. And then its sister engine, both of them built in 1875, just a couple months apart from what I understand, even though they weren't built for the same railroad. This is the Glenbrook, which lives in Carson City, Nevada, and is owned by the Nevada State Railroad Museum. And it's also absolutely stunning. They have run really, really well. I had the pleasure of riding behind them yesterday, and it was a stunning day. Now, these locomotives, of course, were built for Lincoln Pin operation, and the front of the locomotives both have apparatus for Lincoln Pin, but the back of them have couplers. So they had to develop a special device, this guy right here that you see, to allow them to couple up together. And they are basically operating as a unit because the FRA inspected this, approved it, and said, you know, it has to stay this way for the duration. So these two have been running like this since they've been on the property. Beautiful shot of the back of Glenbrook. And here's a collection of locomotives. You've got 489 on the left, 315/425 next to that. That looks like the Glenbrook. And then 463, which is dressed as 455 next to it. And then off to the right is 168. It's pretty amazing to see 156 years. I think that's right. 1875 to 1926. Yeah, this is 56, no, 51 years, sorry, of locomotive development, all in the same place, all narrow gauge, and 3 different sources of fuel: wood, coal, and oil. Really incredible. We had a night photo shoot to remember. It was Monday evening. You can see 315/425 on the left and 168 next to that. Mike Shade was kind enough to bring out his lights, and anybody who wanted to be part of the night photo shoot was invited. It was not, you did not have to pay for it. You didn't have to have a ticket for a train. Show up with the cameras, you're ready to go. This is happening again in Chama on Saturday night. After all of these locomotives are there in Chama. So it's really amazing to see these at night. And you can see these sparks from the Glenbrook behind the Eureka there coming out at night. Whoop. All right, what are you doing? Okay, this is the crew from the Nevada State Railroad Museum. They came out and are, they have handouts and are selling stuff. And then the Friends also have a booth here in Antonito. We just set one up in Chama on Tuesday as well. This is the arrival of the 20. The tender came on a separate lowboy, of course. And I love this. This is the crew from the Colorado Railroad Museum putting the headlight back on the 20. But Bill gave me a great joke, which is this is the crew readjusting the headlight for straight track rather than a circle. I know I can't hear you laugh, but you are laughing because that's a funny joke. And here's the 20 out this weekend out on a test run to make sure that everything is fine after its trip. And there's the crew that brought her out. That's a very happy group of folk. I love what they did with 455 here because you see it says the Defense Supplies Corporation, Washington, D.C. owner and lessor, which is what 455 would have had during this time period. So that's a really nice attention to detail there. And of course, the weathering is stunning on this. That's also a joke. Here's some of the historic passenger fleet. The 256 and the 292, I think, both coaches painted in red, restored by the railroad here, the Kubri and Toltec, and then behind them is the 470, which is the immigrant class sleeper car that the Friends just finished.
And I'll note that that's our CRF there in the background.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly right. That's the building that I'm in right now. And so we can restore really basically about 3 cars inside, and then a minimum of 2 on the concrete pad out front. And we have plans to cover the concrete pad on this side, which will give us nice covered area for those 2 cars that we're working on. Because as you can tell, the sun gets brutal here, as well as the wind. There's some happy friends getting ready to load passengers for the train, 292 on the right and 470 on the left. Notice that the ride height of the 2 cars is pretty dramatically different, and those are how those cars arrived from the factory. We did a lot of research on 470 to make sure that the ride height really was that high, and it really was that high. This is the inside of 470. I just don't have words for this. It's simply stunning. And this is what it looks like with people in it. A question?
Greg, we're missing the lights right now that should be going in there. Those should be reproduction lights that we had custom made. Unfortunately, every time they get shipped here, they get broken.
Ooh.
So
okay, good to know. So there's lights that are going to be added to this car. If anybody has a question and the video is not playing, please feel free to jump in and ask. One of the interesting things about this car is you could have, there's these sliders between the seats and bunks, and you could close the slider for sleeping arrangements or have it open for non-sleeping. And of course, these benches fold down towards each other and provide 2 beds. And then these beds up here fold down and provide the other 2 beds. And so for every 4 seats, there were 4 sleeping positions, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. Everybody who had a seat had a bed. This is inside 292. It's a really stunning car. The railroad did an amazing job with this. And this is inside 256. I love this car because it's got the divider. It's just really a stunning car. Very pretty. This is the RPO. This has been on some of our charters this week, but not all of them because of its weight. When it is attached to the charter train, it is basically used as a concession car and a bathroom car. So that's why all the soda's in there. And this is the 470 out for its final certification after brakes and bearings and everything else. The other issues that developed have been resolved. Kind of hard to beat 470 on Hangman Strassel, even if there is a diesel there. I mentioned that we're working on a drop bottom gone during this event, and this is what it looked like earlier in the week. I already showed you what it looks like now. The difference is dramatic. I don't know how they did so much. There's only about 3 or 4 guys working on this car. A drop bottom gone is pretty complicated because of the drop doors that run down both sides of the car. There's a lot of complicated wood and metal on this car, and the folks have done a really incredible job. And yes, Marshall, we do see you in the back. This is more work on the drop bottom gone. The same thing. I don't know that these are exactly in. Oh, there's a duplicate. That's not okay. And this is them starting to get the sides worked up on that car. You can see all of the doors down here And each one of these are built separately. We also, as I mentioned, are working on a Gramps car. I'm told this is the 10th Gramps car that will be put in operation on the railroad. And I'd like to put a plug in. I think it's time for us to do a Gramps tank car charter after this one is finished, of course.
Greg, that's not the 10th Gramps car. That's the 10th tank car.
That works. Okay, good to know. Thank you. The 10th.
I think that's the second Gramps car.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. And there she is. Looks to me like they're straightening handrails. We also had an Operation Lifesaver demonstration here. This is Brad Lonsberry. He is the safety officer for the railroad. He also happens to be, not by coincidence, the safety officer for the Friends. We find by having the same person do that role for both entities really unifies the safety for both entities as we work together and make sure that we're all on the same page. I have tons and tons of respect for Brad. I really enjoy working with him, both on the railroad and as a Friends person. I don't work on the railroad, but when I interact with him as a railroad employee, and great guy, and really believes in safety. In Chama, we're also working on a project. This is a passenger box. Remember that video from the very beginning? The railroad did not have real passenger cars because the Rio Grande did not sell them to the C&TS. They kept them for themselves, sent them all to Durango for the Durango, and what is now the Durango and Silverton, which was then the Silverton branch of the Rio Grande. So they took a bunch of boxcars and converted them into passenger boxes. We have taken a few of them and converted them into what we call rider boxcars. This is the second one. And a rider boxcar is a car that looks just like a boxcar, but on the inside has benches running down the sides facing towards the middle and has doors on at least one end. And it's great for our photo freight charters because people can ride in here to wherever we're going to take the photo. They jump out, we open up, we close all the doors. It looks just like a boxcar. We do the run by, and then people jump back in and we go on down the road. We design these cars so that the doors can all be open and people can ride in them safely. There's bars that are across the doors, so we get great airflow in there, but people are safe. And whoever designed this car is brilliant. I'm very happy with them. As a guy who's a wrangler on some of our charters, these are really helpful cars.
Greg,
Also,
is Bill Stam on the line? He can maybe add some comments about their work this week.
Bill, are you here? Can you hear us?
Long ways to Chama. Maybe maybe the bits haven't gotten there yet.
I don't see Bill on the line, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, that's too bad. This is more work that they're doing on this car. That's the old passenger box steps. The steps that we add are quite a bit different than that. I think that's still the old passenger box steps in the center there. And then this is Bill on the right and his crew. They've done an amazing job on that car. Okay, let's see if I can get this to play without having to start over.
We're not getting the sound for some reason.
Oh. Did that fix it, Bill?
For a minute.
Can't hear you, Greg.
There we go. Sorry about that. So that was 425 Justice 315 and also 168 in Antonito Yard and going up Gravity Hill. And we're going to have to jump back for the next video. I'm just making more work for Ian. The more stuff for he's going to have to cut out. Oh, maybe did we not see this?
Yeah,
Yes,
skip.
we've seen this.
Yeah, skip on.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is the Eureka and the Glenbrook. We're going to see, I think it's about 6 different sequences. They're not exactly in order, but they're, I believe, all yesterday, with a mixed consist, a boxcar, a gondola, and 2 passenger cars. And there'll be various shots leaving Antonito, Lava Tank, Bighorn, and then coming back into Antonito at the end. About 6 different shots. Pretty sure that's coming off the north leg of the Y at Bighorn.
Looks like a classic run by.
Very much so.
Pretty good.
There's a contrast you don't see every day. So these shots, these last 6 shots were from the Eureka Glenbrook run yesterday, and I had the pleasure of being a wrangler on this trip, basically a person who helps people get on and off the cars for the photo run bys. And those locomotives ran brilliantly yesterday. I was incredibly impressed. I am told that together they have about the same pulling capacity as the T12. So for them to run so well, especially considering that Glenbrook has never been off of the Colorado State Railroad Museum property before. And sure, they did have some steam up issues on Sunday, I believe, just learning how to fire on the grades that we have and the length of track that we have. They figured that stuff out so quickly and just put on an amazing day yesterday. Let's see what else we have. That was a shot from Tuesday, I believe, and also, of course, 425 and 168. You notice the different lettering on the 2 locomotives. There is photographic evidence, as disconcerting as it seems to see those different colors, that that's in fact how they operated, at least at one time. Okay. Oh, I got these out of order. This is back to the Eureka and the Glenbrook. Real quick, I want to ask if anybody has any questions before I continue. See if there's any. Nevada State Railroad. Okay, good. Miles per quart of wood. How do they clean the flues of pine resin? Those are really, really, really good questions. I don't know the answers to those. Those are fantastic. Okay, I got rid of the black box on the right. Yes, very much so. The difference in the rods, the difference in the rod speed because of the driver sizes between 425 and 168. Miles per quart of wood. Man, I wish I knew, but I do know that yesterday we set up chain gangs to carry the wood from the gondolas to the locomotives, and I was stunned at how much wood they had burned. How come the safety man has a bandage on his thumb? Can you explain once again why the Eureka and Glenbrook are running? I absolutely can. That's a really good question. So the Eureka and Glenbrook came with, from the factory with Lincoln pin couplers. Of course, today to pull any normal equipment, you need a regular coupler. And so what they did was they created a modification. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one other piece you need to know, and that is that the front of the locomotives retained their Lincoln pin setup, but the back has retained their more modern coupler so that they can hook up to regular equipment. For them to run together, you have to be able to connect the Lincoln pin on the front of the Glenbrook to the regular coupler on the back of the Eureka. And that's why that unusual setup that they have, that's kind of was an unreportable injury at home. That's brilliant. That's why unusual setup. And it's kind of a one-time thing so that they can run together. They've never run together before, as far as I know, not as a double header, although I'm pretty sure the Eureka has visited Carson City where the Glenbrook lives. So we're back to Bighorn Y with those 2 locomotives. Okay, what we have here is some. Let me back up a little bit. So what we have here is a couple demonstrations that the friends have put on over the course of the week, both Derek OP and Pile Driver OB. You see OP being moved here.
That'll do. Hold it. I do. Boom locked. Boom locked. Load up. That'll do. Load down. That'll do.
Okay, and this is OB, the pile driver. I'm going to get to this go through this pretty quickly because we want to try and live stream the Eureka Glenbrook coming in. I can hear the whistle off in the distance, so we're going to go through this last part pretty quick here. This is basically getting OB into position, the pile driver. And keep an eye on this part in the upper left-hand corner where the watermelon is. By the way, that's Bill Kepner there on the right. Oh, I love that part. That's amazing. And this is a picture of the remnants of the watermelon spreading off in different directions. Ooh, Jerry, we're getting some feedback from you. They're perfect. Thank you. Okay, let's check in with Bill real quick because he's got, I think, video live streaming.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. Then I have one more video that I'm going to show. And we will call it. Oh, I have to go back to the doggone it. I should give everybody a warning that this is a loud video. It is a whistle off that happened out in front of the Antonito Depot not too long ago, a couple days ago. And all of the visiting locomotives blowing their whistles. And like I said, it's quite loud. So you might want to lower your, here it comes. Okay, that's just ridiculous, but also really freaking cool. So while we wait for, oh, look, there's Bill recording outside. And here come the locomotives. Perfect timing, dude. That's the Eureka in front, the Glenbrook behind, and today's charter. And I don't know how he's doing this because it's raining like heck outside right now. I'm very impressed.
We're not seeing it.
You're not seeing, oh, it's if you look, I'm sorry, you have to look at Bill's case. Hey, Bill, can you hear me? Can you present? Because we're just getting the little same screen as if it was your face.
I found it.
You did.
It's because
Okay.
I'm on my phone.
Okay. That was the train. Okay, so that's our official presentation for tonight, and the timing is perfect because that's about an hour. Now we scheduled this for 2 because we wanted to make sure that we were available for any questions you have. So please feel free to start firing away with questions. And I'm going to look at the various chats and see if there's questions there as well. Anybody?
Hi, my name's Andy Wittenborn.
Hi, Andy.
Hi. I don't know whether did Frank Barry give a presentation of his book?
In fact, it wasn't a presentation per se, but he did visit the railroad and the Friends booth and was available to autograph his book and answer questions about it. We unfortunately ran out immediately because the book is so popular, but he brought another selection today. Those will be available for sale tomorrow. And I can't wait to see this book because everybody is talking about it. It's called A Winter.
Yeah,
Andy?
I have the book back. I'm in the book
Excellent.
because I was there with Frank Barry in '61. And we were, you could see in the background, that's my 33 Franklin. But in '61, I did a round trip to California. I did a round trip to California in a 1929 Graham Page, which he mentions in the book.
That's fantastic. The book is called The Last Winter, and it's about Frank's. It's about a winter that Frank and his wife spent in Chama, New Mexico. Do you remember the year, Andy?
Yeah, I think it was 63.
63.
It was
Okay.
just after they got married because I shot
Here
the
comes a
wed-
train.
I shot his wedding.
Okay, cool. Yeah, please feel free to share, Bill. And the thing about Andy's book is he's a classic photographer. And so the book is filled with his wonderful photos of Chama in
Well,
wintertime, as well as stories about life in Chama in winter
Right.
in the 1960s.
Can you see my screen?
We could, but now we're looking at your desktop. So while we get this set up, anybody else have any questions?
We just to get in 61, I think we slept in the sand house because it was nice and warm and they didn't seem to bother us. I don't think.
That's really cool.
Greg, what do I do to get?
In Zoom, when you want to share, I wouldn't share your desktop. I would share a specific application and then you share whatever application. There you go. That's it. Thank you, sir. Can everybody see that?
No, we're just seeing you, Greg. Oh, there you go.
Okay, good. This is today's
Yeah,
train. This
let me
is
talk.
live.
Yeah, I need to be presenter.
Yep, you should be.
I need to be spotlighted, I guess.
That should, you're spotlighted on my screen. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, it's raining. It's starting to rain pretty hard.
Yeah, I can really hear it here in the CRF.
But there it is.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Bill. I'm going to go through some of the questions that we've been getting in chat. Steve, you asked, where is this? And I missed it, unfortunately, because if I look at chat while I'm presenting, it causes issues for people who are watching.
It was Bighorn.
Bighorn. Okay, thank you. There you go, Steve. And the roadbed does look amazing. The crew has done an incredible job on the roadbed. I think they're just about finished with a 5-year project to do that. Marvin, yes, no, that's not right. I'm sorry, I forgot the guy's name.
John
He's been-
Matthews.
Thank you. John Matthews has been spearheading that project. Thank everyone involved with it. Oh, you're very welcome. Well, I have to be honest, it's been incredible to be a part of this. The railroad, the friends, I mean, predominantly the railroad. This is their event. This is their celebration. It's been really incredible. Quick question, is anyone know the status of the microphones on the yard cam? Jonathan says they need to be replaced. Jason Rose needs help with putting them in. Yep, Jason is a great guy. He's out of Texas. He does a lot of the webcam, yard cam stuff for us. So yeah, I'm sure he could use help on that. Was this covered by local news? I believe that there was a news station here a couple of days ago. Bill, do you remember that? Oh, there we go, KRQE.
Yeah. It's on YouTube.
Okay, good. David, that's a great comment. The guy in the background has impressive fly swatter technique. Oh, they're gone. That was Marshall Smith and his wife, Mary Jane Smith. They are like 25, 30-year friends members, and where they're staying doesn't have good internet. So they watch the presentation from here. And yes, he does have impressive fly swatter technique. I'm really glad you guys are enjoying the presentation. It was Bill put it together and with help from me, and they did an amazing job. I'm really glad you like the Zoom call. We will definitely do more. We're planning some for this winter. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
If I may make a comment before you go, I think this is super. I'm so pleased about this, and I'm glad you're doing it. The other person that needs a real pat on the back and never gets it, seems to me, is Chris James. I've done a survey of heritage publications, quarterlies, biannuals, annuals. Over the last maybe 2-3 years, I've got 30 or 40 more mainly from English speaking countries. By golly, you've got to go a long way to beat the Dispatch.
William, you just made my day. I think Chris does an incredible job. I think the Dispatch is fantastic. I 100% agree with you. Thank you very much for that.
The engineer that's standing in front of the camera, walking away from me, is Earl New.
Sorry, Jerry, we're getting a little feedback from you. Did you have a question? You're muted now, Jerry. Jerry, you're still muted if you're asking a question. Okay. Anybody else for the question? We got as much time as you guys want.
Has anyone seen
Well, it's funny you say that because yes, he's been on the property all week. He's been engineer at times, and he was just in the middle of Bill Kepner's shot there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So good question.
So, love Earl.
Yeah, and his presentation, was it last winter? I believe it was last winter, was really, really fun. And Earl has expressed interest in doing another one, his second 10 years on the C&TS. I think that would be incredible. So we're all in favor of that idea.
See, now you guys were selling the railroad. I got my 168 cap, and I noticed you got your a newer 463. And I know in videos and stuff, I see people, 489. I'd love to have a 484, but I can't see anywhere where they're selling those online.
Well, I was just in the Antonito station depot today, and they have a little gift shop in there, and they had a whole wall of all the different locomotives. I don't know if they have 484 specifically, but I would call either the Chama or Antonito stations and see if they can hook you up with that stuff.
Okay, because I noticed on the railroad's website, the online store is not active. So.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. It may be worth.
So maybe I'll call them.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I was just saying, call both of them.
Okay. Good, thanks.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, I really like this hat. In fact, when I was Wrangler yesterday, it blew off at the bottom of Whiplash, which isn't necessarily a big deal, but it's the middle of the day. It's very sunny, and my job was to stand in the open car and help people. So I was very, very glad to get it back with the help of the railroad.
I've got the one from some years back. I got it at a narrow gauge convention. The Friends had a booth in Denver, and it's a 463, but it's the gold lettering. And it doesn't have the DNRGW and the class on it, but it has Friends on the back of it. So, yeah.
That sounds like a pretty cool hat. I do like though the way that the railroad set these.
Oh yeah, I love those hats.
These are really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, still open for questions. I'm not seeing anything on the YouTube channel. Anybody else have anything they want to ask before we any ideas? Oh, that's a really good question.
Hey, Greg, can you spotlight me?
We're looking at your screen, bud.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not your screen, but I mean, we're looking at the locos.
Okay.
Yeah. So how many people have attended this event?
We have no idea.
That's a really good question.
That is.
Part of the problem is except for the charters, everything else is free and available to the public. That includes the photo shoots, both just in front of the station or the engine house, or the night photo shoots, the demonstrations that the Friends have been doing, the tours that we've been doing. I haven't even talked about that, but we've been doing tours of both the Antonito and Chama yards. one of the things that's been really cool is we've seen a lot of folks from the local area show up, and these are people who have lived with the railroad, and it's kind of like an everyday thing for them. But when they heard that the special stuff was going on, they came out to see it. And I really enjoyed that. That's been great. It's very hard to count how many people have been showing up because you know, there's no mechanism. We don't need to sell tickets for anything other than the trains. So it's an excellent question. I just don't know. Look, sounds like the rain's letting up. That's good.
I can see the sky starting to clear up.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. I feel bad for the people getting off the train in the middle of the storm.
There's a nice rainbow here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and I heard its whistle. And look,
Look at that.
fancy
Oh.
that. Nice, pretty rainbow.
Can people
There's going to be
see-
some.
say that again, Bill? We might have blown out Bill's microphone. Well, okay, let's see, more questions. Will the Friends be adding a building on the Chama end to be able to work undercover? That's under constant discussion. I think it's safe to say it is definitely on our long-term plans. I think it's also safe to say that it's probably not on our short-term plan list. There's some improvements we want to make to the CRF to make this an even better building. Chama is an amazing place to work just because you're in the yard, and we're always trying to figure out how to balance what it would be like in Chama if we had a CRF, a car repair facility, and we had people who wanted to work in the yard. And we haven't really figured out exactly how to marry that, because of course, that's a historic piece of property. We can't build a CRF right in the middle of the yard. So do I think it'll happen? Absolutely. But we want to make sure that it's a facility that enhances the experience of being in Chama rather than takes away from it. A lot of people love being in Chama because they get to work in the yard, and we're still trying to figure out how to make that happen. How did the guided tours, the treks across borders go? That is a really good question. I don't know yet. I don't even remember off the top of my head what day they had it planned.
That was yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I think.
Okay. Well, the weather yesterday was exceptional. The weather today was very good until about 30 minutes ago. So hopefully they're back off of the muddy roads. That's a really good question. I wish I knew the answer. I hope to get some information on that, Vance. Thanks.
Yeah, we had lined up a guy that was going to report from Chama, but he had to back out at the last minute. So,
okay. Whoa, is that a cat running across the screen?
He's scared to death.
Right. Okay, so one of the questions is, will there be coverage of the nightly run out of Chama this weekend? The question refers to the fact that they're running a night train from Chama to Antonito Sunday night through Monday morning. This includes a nighttime photo run by at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know all the details.
Sunrise at Ferguson's Trestle.
Thank you. Yes, sunrise at Ferguson's Trestle. People will actually be using the 470 as a sleeper car. I don't think that Friends have plans to cover
Well, one
that.
of the things, Greg, one of the things we can talk about tomorrow is a possibility of doing a volume 2 of this type of session, maybe next month or so.
I think that's an exceptional idea. So I was going to say, Carl, no, we don't have plans for that, but it looks like we do. And I think that that's a really good idea. So I'm very glad you asked. And we'll have a little bit more time to put together some more information from this, or more videos and pictures that haven't been shared yet. So yeah, let's make that happen.
Yeah, they're currently backing the train back down the loop so that they can load it tomorrow morning.
And while that's happening, I think I hear the regular passenger train backing up to the station using the diesel.
No. Actually, Marvin's going to be shoving the regular passenger train down to the depot here in a couple minutes. So I will mute myself when the diesel gets close. But you can kind of see what we've got here in the yard right now. I don't know, maybe 150 photographers running around crazy. I had to throw a rock at one guy, had his butt right in front of the camera.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, we've got a question on YouTube Live, Dylan. And Dylan, this doesn't sound rude to me at all. The question is, will Glenbrook operate separately from Eureka at some time during this weekend? Unfortunately, I think the answer is no, and I think that there's a couple of reasons. One is it takes the combined efforts of the Eureka and the Glenbrook to equal the power of the T12 168, which frankly isn't all that much power, right? You think about the 168 being 12,000 pounds attractive effort and a K37 being 37,000 pounds attractive effort. What that means is the Eureka and the Glenbrook combined are a third. I said 37, I meant 36. Combined are the tractive efforts of a K36. So there's very little that they can pull even together combined. For example, they could not pull the Pullman. Sorry, let me back up. They could not combined pull the RPO, the 292, and the 256. Is that right, Bill? Is that what the issue was? Was those three cars, or was there a fourth car?
It can pull the 470 as well, so long as the RPO is not in the consist.
There we go.
In place of that, we have the concession car.
Okay, that's it.
Which
Thank
is
you very
lighter.
much. Right. Okay. So they're really limited to, as Ian said, the 292, the 254, and the RPO, or the 470. They can't pull all four together. So if you were to have one of those locomotives try to pull a train, even being the Glenbrook, which probably can pull more than the Eureka, it would not be a very big train. Friday, operations move from Antonito, that's tomorrow, move from Antonito to Chama. There'll be two trains heading over the hill to bring the equipment, the locomotives, all of that stuff over the hill. The locomotives will be operating under their own power and pulling the trains. Chama, of course, is an even more difficult place to get out of, because instead of a 1.5% grade on this side of the hill, you've got 4% over there. So I just don't expect to see those two operate separately. Maybe at best, when they uncouple them and then move them to the end of the track to put them on the low boys, but probably in that case that would be done by diesel. So I just don't think that'll happen, unfortunately.
I think the FRA are insisting that they travel together because they need the combined stopping power as well as motive power.
So having said that, I think that's an excellent question, because that would be pretty amazing to see them separate. I do think that the Glenbrook probably has more pulling power than the Eureka, just because it's a mogul instead of an American. Really good question. I'm glad you asked that. And I'm also really glad that Carl asked about video coverage on Sunday night, because I think there's going to be a lot of video that we could share on another session, and
Exactly.
pictures too. Okay, I'm going to do last call for questions. Want to make sure everybody gets their questions in either by text or by voice. YouTube or Zoom, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Try and get everybody's questions answered before we log off for the night.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I'll be live I think tomorrow on Twitch for the departure of the morning trains. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I live stream from the camps on Twitch. So yeah, I can try to do for the night train. I'll be up.
That's awesome. How do people find you?
Twitch TV/Jonathan Cordova 12.
All right.
So I'll try
Good to know.
broadcast it live.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
We've got an 1880 railroad live streaming on Twitch. I love that. William, you are, yeah, that's very cool.
Mhm.
William, you are very welcome. It was a pleasure to do this. Really big shout out to Bill Kepner. Ian for doing all of the work that he does, the railroad for putting all of this together, the friends for letting us participate. It's been really a blast. Unless anybody else has any last minute questions, I think we're gonna call it. All right. Have a great evening, everybody. Have a great week. Keep an ear out for us doing this again in a month or so with additional videos and pictures from this event, and especially covering Sunday night, which is going to be amazing. Cheers, everybody. Be well. Take care. Thank you.
Hey, with all this activity, do we still want to just stay live and just show it?
I'm perfectly it's fine with me if you guys want to keep doing that.
Yeah, because we got 19s gonna be pulling out, going over to the yard, and there's the two visitors pulling out.
Yeah.
No reason why we can't do that. I think I'm going to stop the recording, but there's no reason why we can't do that.
That was safe. And also, Greg, you know who else is out in Chama right now?
Who's that?
Toyman TV. Dale and Karen. They're out there in Chama right now.
You are absolutely right. I ran into them a couple of days ago. That was really exciting.
Yeah, I've been keeping them up to date on events like this. They've been messaging me and stuff to ask, and I give them what I could.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then for kicks and giggles,
Mhm.
wave to the camera, Bill. There it is.
Dude, that's some Inception-like stuff right there.
Exactly.
We may have set rail fanning back 20 years.
I think you sent it ahead. You didn't send it back. You went ahead.
Yep, I think so.
Mhm.
For
I'm
anybody
getting
who
cold.
didn't-
I'm
ahead.
getting cold. It's time to get back to the CRF.
Thank you, Bill. Great job, man. For anybody who didn't notice, that was Toyman Television on Kirk's screen.
Wait. Dale?
About 2 minutes ago. It was his back, but still.
Yeah. He's a nice guy, Toyman TV. I like him. He actually came for the Steam Up for 29-26. He was actually on location when I was there on that Sunday.
Nice.
I live streamed it for 4 hours, basically.
Holy cow.
And that was all on my phone.
So let's see, we have, I think, 425 on the left, 168 just next to it, 489 next to that, and then hidden behind 489 is Glenbrook, and then in front is Eureka.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, thanks, Kurt.
Yep. It does look like they've kind of tied everything up. So it was nice. It was nice that rainbow to show up, though.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Yeah. One little tiny
hopefully
bit of it.
we'll see 488 come out here soon for the event too. And she's in the shops. Chama.
All right, everybody, should we call it?
I think we should.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a great night and a great week.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Cheers.
Yep.
Cheers.
Bye.